So according to the moral criteria I mentioned above, if I had some evidence that the fetus is self-aware or it has that minimum level of awareness that allows it to have plans to be capable of valuing their life, that would be evidence that the fetus has a right to life. But I see no evidence about that. I have no reason for it.
Thank you.
Mine would be rather similar. The way that I look at it is that I think that the reason why we fear death is a problem for us, is because it means the end of a life as we know it. And I think that the embryo, the fetus in utero, has no capacity to know. It does not know that it's alive. It does not know what death is. It has not yet begun to put together any sense of itself in time or in place. And I think that if it were demonstrated to me that the embryo or the fetus has a sense of life and death such that it can have hopes and dreams for life and a fear of death, then that would change my mind about it. Thanks for your prayers.
Thank you.
What we've heard is the repetition of the claim that, well, what gives a human being value, what makes them a person, is that they are self-aware, they have the capacity to know, and therefore they can value their own life. No argument that I've heard has been given for this argument, for this position. It's an assertion, it's a let's dixit. What we've done on this side of the house is given an alternative, which is the natural law argument, which undergirds natural human rights, and therefore the human rights framework that undergirds human civilization right now. There are arguments for that I've given. I've not heard an alternative argument from that, and I haven't heard a counter argument. Now, I will only say this, therefore, to that assertion. Again, I've pointed out that if you are asleep in a coma, in a persistent vegetative state, if you're an infant or if you're a very young child, if you're severely mentally disabled, you are not self-aware. You do not value your own life. You do not have the capacity to know. You lack the actualizing of these potentialities, which I agree, as potentialities are very valuable in human beings. What makes us worthwhile and valuable and dignified as human beings is that we are rational human creatures, which is to say we have a nature which has the inherent potentialities of reason and intellect and free will. Those are the things that make us quite special. That's the secular soul. But it's the actualizing of those things that they identify as a thing that makes you valuable. It's not. It's the having of a nature with those potentialities that makes you valuable. And it's the fulfilling of the flourishing of that nature later on that gives you moral duties. And when you can't do it yourself, your parents have the duty to do it for you. That's the framework that should allow us to say that what the other side are giving us is in fact a subhumanist account of human value and human dignity, as opposed to the truly dignitarian, let's say dignified humanist account that we've given on this side of the house. And that's why we should reject the motion tonight.